Good evening. I'm Lindsay Mitchell.
And I'm DeAndre Dawsey. Here's what's coming up next on Panthervision.
UWM this week, along with one of the administration's most outspoken critics. And find out how UWM students are cleaning up for Earth Week.
Plus, protesters finally get their meeting with the Chancellor. That and more coming up on Panthervision.
From the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, this is UWM Panthervision. A weekly newscast reported, written, and produced by students in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication. And now, the news.
The Secret Service, helicopters, and bomb squads surrounded the UWM campus.
And it's all for a special visitor from the White House. Panthervision's Alejandra Guerra has the story.
Vice President Joe Biden and Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner are speaking and taking questions.
The financial markets.
And Stephen McDonald doesn't want to miss out.
I listen to a lot of podcasts about economics, so being able to hear Secretary Geithner talk in person was just too good an opportunity to pass up, as well as the Vice President, of course.
That there's no way
Biden and Geithner are at UWM, talking to students and faculty
what that generation did next
about financial reform being proposed in Washington.
and productive capacity.
I really did want to find out more about the reform because a lot of it is it's made by political people, and sometimes that can be really confusing for students or just regular people to understand.
That's why it's so
Biden says the reform would help the middle class in case of another economic crash.
It's important to the middle class because the first losers when it crashes are those very middle class people. They're the ones that fall out of that nest.
Biden says banks offered consumers low rates on credit cards and loans.
Because people were going out on plastic getting their kids to college, on plastic making sure they could take care of maintaining their standard of living.
Wojtek says she agrees with reform and that it keeps an eye on the interest rates of her credit cards and loans.
But I've had to use my credit card sometimes for like groceries and stuff like that. You know, when money's a little tight, you spend money on your credit cards on things that you probably should have cash for. It makes me uncomfortable, but what can you do?
Biden says reform will allow transparency and protects taxpayers as well as students from having to pay for Wall Street's mistakes.
Never again should the government be faced with the choice of bailing out an irresponsible bank or watching the whole economy implode.
In Milwaukee, I'm Adeline Guajardo for Panthervision.
UWM's Sheldon B. Lubar School of Business sponsored the event.
Not everyone was excited to see Vice President Biden on campus. Students for a Democratic Society in Milwaukee called an emergency protest outside the Wisconsin room. The group wanted to protest both the occupation of Iraq as well as the bailouts of banks and other large corporations. The group wants increased funding for education instead.
Yeah, the $1 trillion bailouts could have gone a long way in helping students who can't afford to go to college anymore. So we want a bailout for education and not corporations.
The protest was peaceful and there were no problems. After last month's protest, Chancellor Carlos Santiago agreed to meet openly with students and faculty to listen to concerns about education. Panthervision was there as the two sides discussed what they want to see changed. Kyle Warnke has the story.
With a panel of UWM students, faculty, and staff, members of the Education Rights Campaign wanted a democratic, open discussion forum with the Chancellor.
He's refused to actually even meet with us and hear our concerns. But there are things that the Chancellor can do.
Rachel Madison proposed Chancellor Santiago cut his 6-figure salary to help relieve the pressure of increasing fees.
I'd like to ask Chancellor Santiago if he'd be willing to make a similar commitment to students and workers on our campus.
But the Chancellor's answer was met with a less than enthusiastic response.
One of the things he does not have authority over is setting chancellors' salaries, either increasing or decreasing them. But we have a member of the...
But panelist Dr. Rachel Buff excited the crowd with a hot-button issue concerning the Milwaukee 16.
And if you were to symbolically, not as somebody who had the power to do it, to say, right now, hey, let's drop the charges, I think it would have ramifications.
And when an audience member asked Santiago if he supported dropping the charges...
No, I do not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
SA President Jay Burseth says he feels the forum may have been a little lopsided.
It feels like the people that came out to jeer the chancellor and cheer the students.
But he says it was important they got the chance to listen to one another.
I think both sides got to do that, and I think that's beneficial.
While offerings of support were given for those arrested, one man demonstrated the students should fight their own battle. If democracy is wanted,
that's part of my responsibility, and I'd be happy to meet with students.
Both agreed this was needed. In Milwaukee, I'm Kyle Warnke for Panthervision.
The Education Rights Campaign says it will continue to fight for what it believes are equal rights for students, faculty, and staff. Members say open forums like this one should become more regular at UWM.
For the Student Association, the second time's the charm. Travis Romero-Beck and Angela Lang were elected president and vice president last week after a bumpy start with computer problems canceled the first election. This time, 635 students participated in the online election. That's about 2% of the students. Romero-Beck and Lang ran unopposed. Student Association President Jay Burseth will not be resigning before the end of his term. Burseth says a fellow student sent an email of resignation to UWM officials that was disguised under Burseth's address.
My actual email account was not hacked into, but they sent something out and essentially made it look like it was my email address sending it out. And they sent out my resignation and essentially said a handful of things that never happened.
Burseth says he thinks he knows who the student is, but won't release the name. He has contacted the Dean of Students and is seeking charges against the student.
Gubernatorial candidate Tom Barrett is coming to UWM this Monday to discuss his campaign platform with students. Other candidates Mark Newman and Scott Walker previously attended the fireside chats in the union's fireside lounge. The Panther advocates plan to host the candidates again closer to the November 2nd election. If you think parking on UWM campus is expensive, it's expensive now, just wait.
Administrators announced rate increases that will go into effect June 1st. Meter parking will cost 70 cents an hour, up from 55 cents. Pay station parking will go from 80 to 85 cents. Monthly reserve permits will cost $20 more, and regular permits $12 more. And students risking parking tickets will pay $30 for expired meters. A few other changes. The Lubar School of Business parking garage will open some spaces starting at noon, and credit cards will be accepted at campus pay stations. The higher prices will fund $1 million worth of repairs needed for 2 parking garages.
And culture comes to campus, and students respond with a very unusual form of protest. Panthervision's Caitlin Pizzi-Moog has the story.
UWM has seen plenty of student dissent in the last semester, but this one, well, it was a little different.
We are dressed as zombies because Ann Coulter sucks the good out of the brains.
Police presence was heavy outside.
Maybe later we will.
And inside the union, where 800 people who had tickets for the sold-out event went through a metal detector before entering the Wisconsin room. Coulter gave a speech and answered questions.
It does make a difference. 2 men showering together, bathing together, sleeping pecker to pecker.
The conversation ranged from the don't ask, don't tell policy to Islam extremists.
It may only be, 5% of all Muslims in the world subscribe to these extremist views.
The zombies, meanwhile, tried to enter.
We have some, yes. There is a dress code for the season's event as well as Republicans.
But were turned away and left peacefully.
Beware the culture, guys!
In Milwaukee, I'm Caitlin Pizzi-Moog for Panthervision.
Find more brains.
The event was hosted by the UWM College Republicans. And like the campus's previous protests, this one was put on by the group of students for a Democratic Society.
Coming up, we'll tell you how UWM students are helping the environment and saving lives.
And is spring finally here? That and more next on Panthervision.
Boy, boy, it's amazing how many stars there are.
You know what's really amazing, Clell, is that recent discoveries within the Orion Nebula lend credence to the theory of a whole other solar system, predating our own, of course, the origins of which remain in microscopic gaseous form, thus increasing the chances of our not being alone.
Let's see.
Thanks for watching UWM Panthervision, judged Best Student Newscast by the Northwest Broadcast News Association. Panthervision is produced by students in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication in association with Milwaukee Area Technical College.
Welcome back. Graduation is quickly approaching.
And that means students are donating their time to studying.
But as Panthervision's Jenny Puron learned, that's not all they're donating.
Like most students, UWM senior Scott Rogers is sitting on campus today, but for a different reason. Since high school, Scott has been giving his time to help complete strangers, one vial at a time.
Back then it was all about getting out of math class, and now it's message changed a little bit, but yeah, that got me hooked back then.
For years, Scott has been donating and even has a sticker to prove it. From registration to a questionnaire to a simple interview, the process is painless until...
And a little prick in the arm. I mean, it's not going to kill you.
Scott is not afraid of needles, and Blood Center intern Melissa Schulteis says you shouldn't be either.
If you like pinch a pressure point in your body, like in between your thumb and your forefinger, like if you hold that like really hard, like that's what it's supposed to be like when a needle gets holding.
Once the final drop is in the bag, a colorful bandage of honor is applied. And that's not all. Free pizza is given to the donors, and Scott eats his heart out. From A positive to B negative, each donor is making a difference.
Today, I am personally saving 3 lives, and I am not alone. Since 2006, over 8,400 lives have been saved by UWM students. Now, I might be A negative, but there's nothing negative about that.
As the Blood Center packs up, so does Scott, because he's got this one in the bag. In Milwaukee, I'm Jenny Puron for Panthervision.
The Blood Center of Wisconsin is always looking for donors. If you want to save lives, call 1-800-BE-A-HERO for more information.
Some UWM students are finding other ways to donate to their community. And as I found out, Earth Day is a great way to do just that. It's raining outside, but there's nothing dreary about the environment inside. Students are lining up to help in the Hunger Cleanup 2010, and Black Student Union President Brent Green is not allowing a little rain to stop him.
People that are truly dedicated are out here working in the type of weather that you can get sick in.
Brent and other UWM students are cleaning up surrounding neighborhoods in places like Riverside Park, and they aren't stopping there. Students got on board to lending helping hand in many locations, like Growing Power. And this urban farm is more than happy with the help.
They do a great job. I'm working with these students in the barn here. You can see them working away, and they're doing a really great job. So any help that we can get, we really, really appreciate that.
UWM students came out in full force to give back to the community. Like Brent, I decided to do my part too. Volunteer coordinator Sarah Brother is impressed with the hundreds of students who weathered the storm.
But everyone was really great, and everyone came with a great attitude, ready to help out.
And Brent couldn't agree more.
They do it because they love to do it.
Students are happy about their hard day's work, and they have the dirt to prove it. Brent is hopeful that other students will follow in his footsteps.
Come do it. because you'll never know how fun it is if you don't.
Rain or shine, students are making a difference, one piece of trash at a time. In Milwaukee, I'm DeAndre Dawsey for Panthervision. Organizers say more than 500 students participated in this year's hunger cleanup.
With the nice weather approaching, people are out more than usual and more susceptible to crime. As Panthervision's Jeff Yu reports, UWM police are not the only ones on patrol.
On a nightly basis, students trek across campus. But when darkness falls, are they concerned about staying safe?
Yeah, like when I'm walking home by myself, but I keep my shoes tied tight and ready to run if I need to.
Luckily, Mike Pockert has a secret weapon.
Those are my Pumas.
For other students, Nathaniel, Eklund, and Darwin Boyd are here to keep them company.
How you doing? You know, the threat's always there for anyone. You know, we're almost like a deterrent, I guess, you know, because they see us. I mean, we're very visible.
These two protectors of the pavement belong to UWM's Safe Patrol program.
Most of our calls, it's kind of split up. Like half will be calls and half will be, you know, just walking down the street, talking to people, you know, asking where they're going, if they need a walk.
They are the eyes and the ears of the UWM Police Department.
We're not out to, you know, get people in trouble, that kind of thing. You know, we're here to help.
They say that the UWM Safe Patrol is here to protect the community. Do students actually use it?
I have not used the Safe Walker program. Lack of knowledge about it mostly. Like, I don't know the number for it. I don't really know what they're about.
Well, armed with only pepper spray, a flashlight, and a radio, the safe officers walk over 8 miles each night, a beat that their feet could get used to.
So most of the people are going to be criminal justice majors, because it's definitely a good foot in the door.
The door of their very own squad car.
I'm not going to be like, kind of like Action Jackson or anything, but it's going to be fun.
Whether walking home from work or stumbling home from the bars, the Safe Patrol are only a few steps away. In Milwaukee, I'm Jeff Yu for Panthervision.
The program started back in 2008, and in case you were wondering, SAFE is an acronym for Safety Awareness for Everyone. If you need a walk home, the Safe Patrol can be contacted at 229-4627.
Now we go to weather with Kyle Warnke.
So Kyle, are we showing any signs of summer yet?
We saw a lot of summer last week actually, and with April going out with the second warmest summer, or the second warmest April ever in recorded history here in Milwaukee. We're coming into May with some nice warm weather, still kind of continuing that trend. So yeah, we should be a nice couple of days, but we will get to the rain, and that's coming up. I will give the full forecast on rain coming through in just a few minutes. But first of all, let's get to what we're looking at today. We're looking at a high right now of about 67, or currently 61 degrees with a dew point of about 44 degrees, which means that we have some nice clear skies, not too much in the way of rain. Pressure holding steady at 29 3/4 of an inch. And again, that's keeping us with not a lot of clouds in the air. Right now, we're looking, for the day, we have a high of about 68 with tonight's overnight low of about 48 degrees. We do have some showers that will be showing up to the south of us in about Racine and northern Illinois area. But up here in Milwaukee, we should probably miss most of those showers. It might be a little bit hit or miss scattered, but shouldn't be too bad. Let's take a look at the lows around the state. Not too bad, actually. 41 in Rhinelander, 42 in Eau Claire, La Crosse 47, Green Bay 47, Oshkosh 48, Milwaukee 48. So actually not too bad of an overnight low. Highs for the rest of the day, Rhinelander 59, good friends up there, home of the Hodangs. If you don't know what a Hodang is, go to Google, it'll explain all about it. They are a fantastic creature. Eau Claire 62 degrees, Green Bay 67, Oshkosh, Madison as well with 67. In Milwaukee, 68 degrees, so it's going to be a nice day, nice warm sunshine. Not too bad. Tonight we're going to have some cloudy conditions, low of about 45 with a nice gentle breeze, northeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Shouldn't be too bad. Nice comfortable evening for sleeping. Tomorrow, partly sunny, showers late in the afternoon with a high of about 73. So it's actually going to be a nice day during the day, low of 52. So a little bit warm overnight, but not too bad. Wednesday, here come all the rain and the showers. High of about 70, so again, still a little bit warm with a low of 45. Nice gentle breeze. And then for the extended forecast with the rest of the week. 60 degrees on Thursday, then we're dropping down into the 50s, upper to mid to upper 50s for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but partly cloudy skies, so it shouldn't be too bad. But Friday night, we're going to keep an eye on the drop in in the temperature, 39 degrees, and then inland a little bit, it's going to actually drop a little bit cooler. So watch those plants if you haven't planted already for the freezing. So.
Well, it sounds like I'm going to be missing the sunshine, Kyle.
For the day, no, but for the next week, yes.
Thanks, Kyle.
No problem.
The MATC TV video production students are celebrating their annual Student Operations Day. Dan Anthony has a story in this week's MATC report.
MPTV Student Operations Day is fast approaching. This is the day where the TV video production students take over the station.
Student Operations Day is on May 8th of this year, and that's the day when the students take over the airwaves on channel 36.1.
There's a lot of shows that we're showing this year. For the second years, one of them is showing a WMMA thing, which is like a kickboxing thing, which is pretty interesting. I think one of our second year students, Keith Gaffney, he's doing a show that's about ghost hunters dressed in drag, which it looks hilarious. I can't wait to see it. Student operations this year, you know, it was a blast. Last year it was a little weird because being first years and being pretty much noobs at what we were doing, we didn't really know how everything was put together. And this year, you know, being part of management and helping get everything together and promoting and, you know, trafficking and all that kind of stuff, you know, you really get a glimpse of like exactly how everything is put together. And everybody here has been doing great. Has been, you know, everybody evolved quite a bit. And it's going to be really cool to see everybody's work, you know, out there and see if anybody gets any jobs. And it's going to be really cool as well to see all this hard work put together and set in motion.
For MATC Report, I'm Dan Anthony.
From Student Operations will air on Channel 36 and online. You can find the link at mptv.org.
Coming up on Panthervision, find out if UWM basketball will have a new home arena on campus anytime soon.
And one UWM graduate is making a name for himself in an unusual way. That and more next on Panthervision.
University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Visit uwm.edu for information.
It happens every day. It doesn't stop when you reach a certain age. We're all of us learning, even now. You see something in a person's face and see all they struggle to learn. It could be we are here solely to remind each other what must not be missed or ignored, but celebrated. When do we stop learning? Maybe never.
In Chinese medicine, that the body has to move.
Thanks for watching UWM Panthervision, Judge Best Student Newscast by the Northwest Broadcast News Association. Panthervision is produced by students in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication in association with Milwaukee Area Technical College.
Welcome back to Panthervision.
We go now to Megan Phillips for sports.
Thanks, Lindsay.
On a day when Mother Nature decided to play havoc with the wind, Will Miller is out on the course.
Come on, come on. Get in the hole.
Hoping to hear the chain links as he sinks his putts. Will is a graduate of UWM's journalism program, as well as a professional disc golfer.
I've been playing since about 2002, so probably about 8 years. It's my favorite thing to do. I spend most of my free time playing disc golf. I don't know what I'd do without it.
And in all that free time, Will has developed a bit of a name for himself.
I started sponsoring Hole 5 at Dretzka Park. I put a picture of me with my then much longer hair combed out to about here and giant sideburns, and I was shirtless, and it got to the point where people would start seeing me on the disc golf course, and started with whispers where they're like, I think that's the guy from Hole 5. And then it turned into not just that disc golf course, but on other disc golf courses. So I just decided I should go with it.
Using his newfound fame, Will created an alter ego to help promote himself and the sport.
Me and my roommate Chad started a website called hole5guide.com, and we do video coverage from every event we go to. Another element to disc golf that adds something more that I can do with it.
Disc golf is one of the most popular sports around, and it takes a lot of skill to play.
And as for Will's skill?
I wouldn't say I'm pretty good. I'm a moderately competitive player in the professional field.
Modest words for a player that shot 7 under par at the Baraboo Reopen to take 4th out of 14. But winning isn't Will's main motivation. He does it for another reason.
You just get to meet a lot of people, you get to hang out with a lot of people, get to know people around town. And it's a lot of fun to play the game and just relax.
In Baraboo, I'm Sean McGraw for Panthervision.
You can visit hole5guy.com to follow Will's tournament tour. Athletic Director George Kuntz will be taking an extended leave of absence. The university has put the former Green Bay Packer on administrative leave, citing personal matters that are currently undisclosed. Kuntz recently approved a plan to build an on-campus arena that will be funded by a $25 tuition increase. Assistant to the Chancellor Dave Gilbert will take Kuntz's place as acting director of the department. In other sports, UWM baseball is riding out their second half of the season with 2 big wins over Valparaiso University. The first matchup of the 3-game series started close but soured for the Panthers. Big hits by the Crusaders left UWM in the dust with a final score of 17-3. The Panthers redeemed themselves the next day by beating Valparaiso twice. The first game ended 7-5 Panthers. The second ended with a 3-0 victory. The Panthers' record is now 18 wins and 19 losses. The team will travel next weekend to face Wright State. Well, that's it for sports. Back to you, Lindsay. Thanks, Megan. Earth Day offers more than just a day of celebration. It also marks a chance to cross the boundaries of continents and cultures alike. Panthervision's Megan Phillips has more. With the wet weather outside, the Milwaukee community gathers inside to enjoy the 3rd annual Earth Day celebration. The Urban Ecology Center provides children and adults alike a venue to not only learn about the world,
La Mariposa is from Bolivia.
but what an impact a little bit of recycling can make on the earth.
Sam, you guys are just going to paint, okay? So you get to pick which color.
While the painted faces and lessons in recycling are a great way to spend the afternoon, children aren't the only ones to benefit from today.
I am improving my English so I can understand more Americans and children. They speak really different.
Lessons in English that are a bit different than her native tongue in Venezuela. Meet Alejandra Guerra, a UWM student enrolled in the English as a Second Language Department, or ESL.
And the university organized this thing with volunteers because it's an opportunity for us to practice English and do something different.
Alejandra and her fellow ESL students volunteer at this and other events to improve their English.
I saw a need for students to get out and do something different.
Through an immersion in the communities.
To be able to use their English and to acculturate a little bit better.
Students from across the world travel to places like UWM to truly get a grasp.
And I can do it. I'm surprised myself, I never do it before.
On the English language and the American culture. So, while to some, Earth Day is an afternoon for arts and crafts, to the ESL students from UWM, it's also a chance to paint their way through a few of those peskier language barriers. In Milwaukee, I'm Megan Phillips for Panthervision.
Thank you for tuning in to Panthervision.
And have a good evening.